our mutual friend Max texted me like mid last week. This is a screenshot of someone saying, "Hope this message finds you well." And he was like, "This message found me hungover." I was like, "Well, that's yeah. I usually just don't respond, but whatever works best for you, brother."
Hey y'all, and welcome to the first episode of the Discovery Call podcast. My name is Steve. I'll be one of your hosts on this journey as we venture into the world of business and learning, just learning new stuff. And with me, I have Eric Harrison. Eric, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, good to be on here. Glad to be hosting this pod with you.
Absolutely. So to give you guys a quick little intro on what the Discovery Call is essentially going to be, it's going to be a business podcast. I'm hoping it's not going to be a boring business podcast because there's plenty of those. We're not reading everyone's biography and a million books. That's not how this is going to work. This is us discovering and finding cool entrepreneurs and figuring out what they do, how they do it, and why. You know, Eric is a master at LinkedIn. You'll find that throughout this pod. And so we wanted to kind of use his wizardry that he ends up kind of working through the inner tubes of LinkedIn to find these really cool entrepreneurs and cool stories and share them with more than just the two of us. Because our text thread is long and interesting with like, have you seen this guy do this thing? And so I'm tired of just responding, yeah, that's cool, and we're going to actually do stuff with it. Eric came to me essentially and was like, yo, man, we should do a pod. And I'm like, only if it's fun and only if it's interesting. So we're going to find that out very quickly. So Eric, I mean, I know that you wanted to do the pod, but why?
I mean, one, I think I, as an entrepreneur myself, just geek out about learning about other businesses. For me too, as somebody that loves doing sales and loves just getting involved in companies in that way. I think I'm just like an inherently curious person. Actually, I think it's one of the reasons that you and I hit it off and get along so well. I just see what some of these companies are doing on LinkedIn, and you hear about them, you hear about the story. You probably know this thing is like printing money, and they're not like vocalizing that. And you're just like, God, I just want to figure out like how they built this and like what their story was. And there's a lot of podcasts out there that I think talk about where people are now and glorify entrepreneurship and how awesome and successful some of these folks are, and not a lot for folks at the beginning or that like middle ground talking about the hardship of getting to where they are now and how they actually got there. So I'm just excited to dig into some of these companies and figure out what makes them tick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to meet a lot of fun people. We're going to tell a lot of fun stories. We're going to learn a lot, which is really why I'm here. If it's going to be worth my time, I got to be learning something. And hopefully when I'm learning, everyone else is learning too. But we'll see. So just to give everyone the lay of the land, Eric, why don't you introduce yourself, like what you do, that kind of a thing, or like where you're from, that whole vibe, just so they get a little taste of what Eric's about.
Well, when I was cool, I lived like 2 minutes down the road from Steven, but I moved to Milwaukee last fall. So I live in Milwaukee with my co-founder. We run a vetted peer group community for founders. It's really cool. It's my second business. Started my first one in college. Started this current one late last year and have a couple employees doing it full time with me. So we're in the thick of it, like a lot of people listening to this pod probably. But being an entrepreneur is like the coolest thing I've ever done for many reasons, mostly because you just get to do cool stuff all the time and you never know what's going to come next. Like texting you that we should do a podcast a month and a half ago and seeing it come to fruition. So it's one of the many examples.
Yeah, that move to Milwaukee was a mistake. And I'm going to definitely make you believe that by the time this pod's done, and you're going to come back to Philadelphia, which is where I am right now, eventually. No, I'm kidding. You can do what you want. It's your life. You're free. You're an independent entrepreneur. You should be allowed to go where the hell you want, and you did. It made me sad, but I will accept that. I mean, dude, it's been really fun getting to watch you grow as an entrepreneur. I'm a few years ahead of you in that journey for sure, but being able to see what you've been working on, building, your dedication, you got that hustle. You're also younger than I am, so you got a lot of natural energy that I don't have anymore, which is fun to see because it reminds me that I probably could dig in and grab some more of that on my day-to-day when and where I really need to. So it's been inspiring to at least be able to walk with you on that journey and be a sounding board at the very least. So, that's part of the reason why I wanted to also kind of like agree to a podcast. I got tons of stuff to do. We both run companies that are just like high demand, but taking a little time to, explore around likely won't hurt anything. And so I'm excited to do that. That'll be fun.
I don't think we're that different in age, right? I was in like first grade, you were like 30, something like that. Now
Yeah, for
now
sure.
you're an old man.
100%. I'm cashing out my 401k and you just put in your first check. So it's nice. On my end, though, guys, I run a marketing agency here in Philadelphia. I've been doing it for 5 years. Before that, I owned a men's fashion consulting company. And before that, I was a cybersecurity strategist for one of the big four consulting firms. Very different tracks of life at each stage. We'll see what the next ones hold. But, I think for now, this is the happiest I've been for the longest. And so I think that means we're in the right direction. I've lived in Philly for the past 7 years, grew up in the suburbs around here, but also lived in New York, lived in DC. I traveled for 5 years, almost full time. I called Tampa, Florida, basically home because I was traveling there for 2 years straight, back and forth from Sunday to Friday.
Were those the consulting days?
Those were the consulting days. Yeah, there's no way I could afford that many plane tickets a year. I haven't worked there in 10 years, I think, and I'm still working on those airline points. Like, I haven't paid for a United flight in 8 years.
Dude, there is no better feeling than having a trip you got to take you didn't plan for. You're looking at flight prices. You're like, it sucks. You log into your like United or your American account or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can cover this with points. Like the best, maybe one of the few best feelings.
Dude, for sure. The only annoying part is that all my points were on United, and now I live in Philly, and it's an American hub, so they're almost useless. Though I got to go on my honeymoon for free, basically, at least from air travel perspective. So you can't beat that.
Heck yeah.
To give you guys a little bit of a debrief on like how Eric and I actually know each other, he kind of alluded to it, right? Eric used to live in Philadelphia. He was probably 5 minutes down the road from me. We were both in North Philly. We got introduced by a mutual friend, and they're like, yeah, you guys should just probably talk to each other. Do you remember the first time that we met? Was it magic for you like it was for me?
Oh my gosh, it was glorious. The story I tell people, which is funny, is like I was friends with my landlord. I'm in his apartment, guy that introduced Steven and and I'm talking to Steven and this woman, Sarah, on LinkedIn, and I was hosting this founder event in Philadelphia, and I like need like 10 more spots to fill this thing out. And Steven responds and is like, yeah, I'm going to grab a ticket. Is it okay if I like bring my wife too? And I'm like, yes, of course. Sarah responds separately and is like, yeah, I'm going to grab a ticket. Is it okay if I bring my husband too? And I'm telling the guy I'm in the room with, I'm like, I'm about to get 4 people. And they sign up at the same time. I show it to my landlord and he's like, Sarah is Steven's wife. It's like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. And that was like, I think that was actually like the second time we had met, but you'd done a webinar with us prior that was fun. But that's like the funniest story I have from the first time we met.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, my wife runs a charity here in Philadelphia. So while she has a full-time 9 to 5, like the rest of you normies out there, she also is a hustler on the side. So it was very funny because our text messages back and forth. I'm like, hey, do you want to go to this event? It's like X date. She's like, I think I just signed us up for one. And I'm like, is it this founders thing by chance? She's like, oh, yeah. Did you talk to Eric? I was like, yeah, I talked to Eric. Did you talk to Eric? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not as special as I thought.
Here I was thinking I was about to pull 4 attendees. So all worked out.
It was, and that, I mean, it all worked out in the end. That was also a super fun event. I mean, we had such a good time. We got to meet a lot of really awesome founders. And that was kind of like the start of what you were working on for your business, which was really cool to see. But we got to hit it off, right? And then since then, I mean, it was a bunch of like coffee shop meetups. Let's grab lunch. Let's grab a beer. Let's go, chat about X, Y, or Z thing. And since then, it's kind of been off to the races. Then you're like, hey man, this is going really well. I'm glad we're building this cool in-person relationship. I'm gonna leave you now. I'm gonna go to Milwaukee. But don't worry, I'll still make you do work for my business while you pay for it. And I go, hell yeah, let's do that. That's when you know you got something good, when I'm not like, screw you, dude. I'm like, actually, no, I do want to do that. That does sound fun. So you found a really cool niche and you've built a really good business since. But yeah, we still miss you in Philadelphia. We say it all the time.
I think there's a chance I return one day, so we'll see if it's on the docket. My friend Harry keeps texting me, and he'll be like, "I heard you're coming back to Philly." I'm like, "Who told you that?" He's like, "I just made it up, but I'm hoping it's true."
So, guys, from here on out, really what we're going to be doing with this podcast is, as I mentioned earlier, really finding some fun, interesting people that are running really interesting businesses, diving into those that we're finding, because not everyone has the time to do it. Eric's doing it anyway. So I was like, you know what? Let's use your lead gen process and let's actually have some fun with the people that you're finding, because you're finding some really awesome folks out there that are doing some crazy things, and not even crazy in the fact that, like, okay, they're also going to space or they're exploring like the ocean floor. I mean, you sent me some guy literally when we were prepping for this that just does the striping for roads. And I'm like, what? Oh yeah, I guess that is a business that needs to happen. And there's a lot of stripes on roads out there. Like, this business could be huge.
Boring businesses like that are probably just great cash flowing companies that even he would probably say is the coolest job ever. I don't know, but everyone, like, there is a need for that. To your point, like, they're all over. So yeah, companies like that ironically are crushing it on LinkedIn because no one else is really publishing content that does one of these like boring businesses.
Yeah. So this is obviously just kind of the intro pod. We just want to give you guys a little bit of an intro to who we are, what we're going to go after. But I'm going to get some at least good nuggets out of you today, Eric. And I didn't warn you about this. So welcome to the Thunderdome, pal. You are like the LinkedIn master, right? And so with that, I wanted to get like your top 3 do's or don'ts on the platform that you would recommend to anybody right now, so that between now and our next pod, people can at least get a little bit of benefit and value out of what we're doing.
Good question. I probably don't need a lot of prep for that, so it's okay. 3 biggest pieces of advice to like get value out of it. You should treat your profile page like a sales landing page. LinkedIn isn't like Facebook in the way that you're just going to be like, just going to like barely put my life out there. You should write copy like you would on a sales landing page. I read LinkedIn profiles all the time that are very, I'll call it like 2010 LinkedIn. It's Steven has been like a consultant in a fast paced growing industry for 10 years. No one really talks like that, right? And it's not really how you would write sales copy. So I always say things like a great cover banner that says exactly what you do, a good bio line that's like founder at XYZ company, and then just say what you do after, a bio that is like interesting to read and really tells your story and not just what you sell. So that profile looking like a landing page is a big one. The second one I would say is give more than you get. LinkedIn made this really cool update, I think like 60 days ago or something, where you can see comment impressions now, which was cool because people would always have this like back and forth debate of, okay, are comments really valuable? Some comments I make that are thoughtful get more impressions than my posts. I saw one yesterday from a guy that got 80,000 impressions on a comment, right? So I think give a lot on these posts and just add something thoughtful. So something more than just great post, like say something that has meaning. I think the good rule of thumb is like, if you make one post, add 5 comments throughout the day, and you'll be in good shape. Final one is talk to people like you would talk to them in real life. We all get LinkedIn DMs that you read and are like, there's just no way I'm going to respond to this. Like, went right for the pitch, right for the kill, whatever. Talk to people how you would if they came up to you at a coffee shop and were like, hey, my name's Eric. Nice to meet you. Like, just take the conversation the same way. Everyone hates being sold to. There's like a yearning for people to get like some good human connection though. So those 3.
Those are great. I love those. I definitely need to redo my profile on LinkedIn for sure. We were just talking about this literally yesterday, and it was like, yeah, what does your banner photo actually do for you? And I'm like, Mine just has like my company name on it, and that's literally it.
I texted some people about, excuse me, your LinkedIn profile last week. For those that don't know, Steven had this like iconic jean jacket photo as his LinkedIn profile picture from the time I've known him, which has caused me to call him nicknames like the best dressed man in entrepreneurship, the best dressed man in Philadelphia. And then I'm looking at Steven's profile picture last week, and he changed it to some button down that's like company branded, and I was like, what is this? I texted a screenshot of it to people and I said, where is the best dressed man in Philadelphia?
We'll get it back. Actually, fun fact about that shirt. So the shirt is from a defunct company called Held and Co. It was made by my college roommate. It was one of the only organically cotton sourced like looms from the U.S. So it was cotton from the U.S., milled in the U.S., made in the U.S. And the rocket ship on there is like the logo that they had because his uncle is Neil Armstrong.
That's cool.
It was like, it's the best fitting like button down that I ever owned, and they no longer make them, and it makes me very sad.
I don't know how much we'll talk about rebuttals in the Discovery call pod, but that was a good rebuttal to the jean jacket argument. So.
I mean, it is, but the fact that I had to rebuttal it at all or rebut it at all is like, that's the whole point, right? It shouldn't. Maybe I'll do a leather jacket next. We'll level up. We'll go from jeans, denim to leather, and we'll see how douchey that looks compared.
Keep us on our toes.
The other thing that I wanted to get you on was like the initial outreach. I get probably the worst messages on LinkedIn of people just being like, hope this message finds you well. Are you seeking X, Y, or Z thing? It makes me want to strangle the platform, I think. Mostly because I'm like, this is the same thing as me getting called by an unknown number right now, which has happened 3 times since we started this podcast, and we're 18 minutes in. And it's all the same thing. It is literally all, hey, people can't find you on Google. Yes, they can. Please stop. Every in-mail message, like, is it worth it to even do any in-mail messaging campaigns? Have you seen that work? This is a personal question for me.
I think InMail is like the worst LinkedIn feature ever created. It is like, I think, just designed to fail. I always ask myself with things like this, like, would I respond to an email to an InMail? And the answer is always no. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to send them. The this finds you well thing is hilarious too, because it's people writing LinkedIn DMs that should feel pretty casual if they're done well, writing it like a formal email. Our mutual friend Max texted me like mid last week. This is a screenshot of someone saying, hope this message finds you well. And he was like, this message found me hungover. I was like, well, yeah, I usually just don't respond, but whatever works best for you, brother.
Absolutely. I'm 100% there with you. It makes no sense to me, and I don't know why anybody would use it. And I've thought about it, and I was just like, you know what? I've never once been like, this was a good outreach.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch tactics on you, though, really quickly, and just kind of dive in really fast on, you've been on this entrepreneurship journey for a little bit now. What's the best part?
So I did not have this in my first company, at least like not to the degree I have it now, or not to my knowledge. Winning with people that you're close to that are like outside of your company is pretty cool. So I tell people a lot, like, I ran sales at this startup agency, had like a 6-person sales team. We worked in an office 5 days a week. When the sales team closed a deal, like, we went nuts. We went and got Shake Shack together. Like, it was very celebratory. We weren't like a bang the gong office, but we still had a good time. And when I started my own company, when that same type of thing happened, like, you close a deal you're really excited about, I remember telling people, who do I celebrate with? Like, my dog? Like, I'm working from home. Like, this just doesn't feel the same. And I just didn't have that. And I obviously, as part of this business, started to connect with so many other founders inside and outside where I was living at the time that I felt pretty comfortable and excited to text those friends my wins, to where it almost feels like you have coworkers. So coolest part, most fun part for me is just getting good people around me that you almost feel like you have this coworker type relationship with. I'm excited to hear my friends win, and hopefully vice versa.
I love that. What's been the hardest part?
Hardest part. That's a good question. I never know how to answer these because you always answer them, and then 20 minutes later you're like, "Oh, I wish I would have." Here's the story I remembered. I honestly think the hardest part is I'm like a pretty ambitious person, and my co-founder and I like always differ in this way. He's very realistic. I'm very like push the throttle as hard as it can go and as far as it can go. I think the hardest part is just understanding how long it takes to get a lot of this right. Like it takes a long time to build a company. It takes a decade a lot of times to build like a really great 7-figure business. And I think the hardest part is just watching people that are ahead of where you're at. And all you see is where they're at now. You see these like flashy companies, you see them say like all these great things. You don't see them like walking through glass for the past 6 years to like get where they're at now. And I think it's easy to wish you were a little further ahead, but it's difficult to pace yourself and say like I am on track. It's just going to take a little bit longer than I want it to take. So honestly, for me, the hardest part's like being patient.
Yeah.
What about you?
Ugh. Uh, Best part for me is creating a culture that I want to work in and being able to be in control of that. It's very important to me. Having been in a toxic work culture when I was in consulting really threw me. And I was like, I'm never building anything like that ever. And if I can create the opposite environment and still get really great performance out of a team and grow and help people do things, then that's going to be a huge win for me, right? I think that's been the best part, is actually cultivating a group of people that are close enough where, like we're all remote, but we got together for the first time last year in person, and it was like, and we weren't meeting everyone for the first time, right? It was very much like oh, we got it. And that was really special for me. And that was probably the best part of the past like 4 years, was that. Also validation that like your ideas work. I mean, that's crazy, but also the opposite is true, which is part of the hardest part, right? Is like, oh, I'm constantly reminded that I am not as smart as I think I am. Or, that I think we can do so much more. And now I just need to figure out how we can, right? How do we find more success? Because I'm trying very, very, very hard. And we've gotten to this one point, and I'm like, do I have to try significantly harder to get to the next stage? Because if so, like, I don't know how much I got left. And really, it's just more of like you never stop walking on glass. You just get calloused feet, right? And so,
Yeah.
It's typically like the shards of glass get duller over time and your feet get used to it. Is basically, if you're going to use that analogy, that's how I would use it. And like, I'm again further down the line than you are in terms of like how many years I've owned and run a company, but it doesn't get easier. It just changes, right? Your high highs and your low lows kind of level out. It's still very hard. It's always hard, because if it's easy, then you're not pushing yourself enough, I don't think, right? And so for me, it's just
It's super humbling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you're eating humble pie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because every time I'm on top of the world, I get a text from a client, and then it's like, shit.
Dude, or like even, I mean, on the outreach game, like the amount of times I've wrote a LinkedIn DM or a cold email or something that like I knew it was baller. I'm like, God, this subject line rips, CTA rips, and you get like 5 minutes later, like, no thanks. It's like, oh my gosh, like what the heck? What did I do wrong? And like, it's just it's very humbling what you just said. I always make the jokes. I'm like, good news in entrepreneurship is always accompanied by bad news. Like anytime I close a huge deal or like something great happens, I'm like, I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, just wait, the bad news is coming. It's en route somewhere. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm in this really interesting season where it's like, oh man, I'm grinding really hard and things are working so well and we're about to grow a ton and it's really great. And then I'm like, yeah, but I'm burnt out. Okay, maybe I'll slow down a little. And so like I'll slow down a little bit, and then things go through the floor as soon as I let up on the gas pedal. And I'm like, just as I was starting to feel normal again, now my confidence is shot through the floor and I got to hustle my way back up so it's like this really weird, like you pass through this equilibrium phase for like a very temporary amount of time, and then you're back on the cycle of ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs, which again, it's exciting. Like roller coasters are fun for a reason, right? Like there are theme parks and they're centered around roller coasters. We've just decided that we are going to live in that theme park.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's fun to tell people that aren't in this every day, like when you've had the worst day ever, like, oh no, I enjoy it. Like, yeah, I'm doing this to myself.
Yeah. You're like, well, would you work for somebody else? Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I was obsessed with Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was a kid. I didn't realize I was prepping, you know?
That's funny. I was more of a Thrillville kid.
I don't even know what that is.
It was a PS2 game back in the day.
Oh, okay. There you go. Fair enough. I do know what PS2 is, so that's good.
There you go.
No. All right. Well, Eric, I'm really excited to start doing this stuff with you, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to go through and hit like the normal cadence of what we're going to be like. Obviously, this is not the normal pod. We just kind of wanted to pop in, give you guys a little bit of an intro on who we are, what the pod is going to be. You'll get the full flavor of it in our next episode for sure. And if you guys have any suggestions or critiques or feedback, feel free to let us know. As we are entrepreneurs, we are very used to getting tough news. So you can try to hurt our feelings, and I will be mad about that, but I will get over it because I get over everything eventually, as does Eric. But if you like stuff too, that would be awesome. Good feedback is also fun. Thank you, everyone, for kind of chiming in or joining us for this little mini session. The next one will be a little bit longer and definitely a different format. And so we'll see you guys in the next one. Eric, thanks for joining.
Cool. Thanks, man. See you guys.
Cheers.